In this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate how I can generate a PDF file report on any one given pond estimate. As a conservation planner, of course, I'm working with the landowner and I'm deciding what's the best option for the landscape and for the landowner. I'm reviewing all the options that I've generated on my chart here. I've worked with the landowner to choose the best option. I've clicked on the View tab, and now I view that option in my aerial view. It's important to note that I am only generating a report on the view that's located in my aerial view. All the other options, if I want one of the report on the option, I have to click on that view pond. I have to show that in my screen, and I have to click on a report. So it's important to get down to the one pond that you want to report for. Once you do that and it's visible in your aerial view, you'll click on the report button. Then you'll get a pop-up box where you have to put in the preparer's name and phone number, the landowner's name and phone number, the number of acres that you need to grub. In this case, I don't need to grub any trees, so I'll leave that as 0. Let's say, for instance, I need to seed 5 acres after I get my pond built, and then I need to put in, let's say, for instance, 2,000 feet of fencing. Now, remember, the average costs here go back to a table earlier. If I wanted to change those average costs, I needed to do it earlier in the program. In the table option where I change my average cost for my earthwork. And so it's important that I make sure that I do that before this time, because those average costs will populate costs in my report. Down at the bottom, you can see that I have a landowner report and I have a planner's report. Under each report, I have different sections that I can either print off or not print off. If I check them, they'll print. If I uncheck them, they will not print. And so as you begin to work with this tool, you'll understand what parts of the report you want to generate for that landowner. So in this case, I'm going to generate a full report for the landowner and a full report for myself, and I'm going to click on the Create Report. When I do that, the program begins to generate a PDF file of the report that I can either save or I can open, depending on what my goals are. In this case, I'm going to simply open the PDF file onto my desktop, and I'm going to view it and look at it. Once I get the PDF file downloaded onto my desktop, I of course can save it for later. I can print it off. I can save it into the person's case file. Whatever it is, I can do that. Okay, we'll click on Open the Report. And now I get a PDF file, and so you can see the first report for PondBuilder is a report for the landowner. It gives basic information. It automatically puts in my location, my township section and range. I get some disclaimers. The most important one of these disclaimers is this is only an estimate. It's only for planning purposes, and it should be not construed as an engineering design. It is not an engineering design. There are some warnings and hazards. The landowner gets a nice view of the pond. They get the permanent pool. They get the temporary pool, basic information, and basic cost information. There are some warnings about utilities, cultural resources, NEPA, and threatened endangered species. We want the landowner to know just because we've planned this on the computer doesn't mean that once we go to the field and do an engineering design that everything's going to be okay. There are things that do pop up from time to time. There's also sources of additional information. This is individualized to each state, so that if a state wants a landowner to have access to certain brochures or job sheets or websites, we can put those in the report so that when the conservation planner prints that report for the landowner, that landowner is provided what information the state wants it to have. Operation and maintenance can be included in the report. Then we move on to the report for the conservation planner. There's the same basic information, the same aerial view, a little bit more detail in the cost estimate. But what's really exciting to me is this additional planning details that gives me elevations, it gives me acre feet of storage, gives me drainage area, gives me all the nice information I want to really have confidence that I've planned a good quality plan. Gives me a cost estimate. In this case, this dam's big enough that in Iowa we require a berm, so it automatically puts in that berm for us. And then we have the earthwork calculations. We have the runoff curve number calculation worksheet. And we have all the technical calculations that NRCS uses. And so remember that all these calculations, when you generated the list of 150 different options for this one site, it was developing all these calculations for all those 150 options. And so when you choose one view and you click a report on it, it gathers all those calculations for that one option and it puts it in the report for you. And so that's the PDF file that you get for a report. As I said, you can save this report onto your desktop. Nothing can be saved onto the server, and so you can either print it off or you can save it for viewing, and you can print a copy off for yourself, and you can print a copy off for the landowner. And so there's a lot of options given to you in the report section.